Friday, February 20th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Again, a lot to talk about this morning, so let's get right into it. We will begin with a look at the current actual air temperatures across the region. And you have a lot of single digits across North Carolina, some sub-zero temperatures. Reidsville, as I'm cutting this video, sits at -5 degrees. And I believe that is the coldest temperature they have recorded in at least 20 years in Reidsville. I'm checking on that to be sure, but I'm 99% sure that's the case. 3 below zero currently in Boone, 8 in Raleigh, 12 in Fayetteville. Wind's not a huge issue, but enough wind stirring around that we do have some wind chill values below zero in some spots. It's 2 below for a wind chill in Greensboro, 16 below zero for the wind chill in Boone, 14 below in Asheville, Fayetteville with a sub-zero wind chill, and the wind chill is 0 in Raleigh during the 5 o'clock hour. Still have a wind chill advisory in effect for most of North Carolina and the upper parts of South Carolina. It is a wind chill warning up in the mountains for those brutal wind chills that I just kind of highlighted a minute ago. Here's another example. This is the Banner Elk web camera, courtesy of resortcams.com. Layer of snow out there on the ground. The temperature there in Banner Elk is 12 below. That's the actual air temperature now. The wind chill is 23 degrees below zero. An absolutely brutal morning across the mountain zones and really all across the region. These are actual air temperatures in the mountains this morning. It's 0 in Rainbow Springs, Cherokee 6 below, Jessen Station 8 below, 8 below in Beech Mountain, Blowing Rock, and West Jefferson also sub-zero this morning. The radar quiet out there and really pretty quiet across the region. There's actually been a few snow flurries there with the Tennessee Valley of North Alabama, a few flurries there in North Mississippi and Arkansas too. And we'll have a quiet day, but we will see some high clouds rolling in later in the day. Another sub-freezing day for the majority of North Carolina. There's your high temperatures this afternoon. Now moisture begins to increase later tonight and into Saturday. Now it's looking more and more like really most of the precipitation will stay confined here to the mountains and maybe the immediate adjacent foothill areas. Let me show you what Futurecast is doing here. That's what it looks like around 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Really any precipitation that were to make it out into the Piedmont through at least the first half of the day tomorrow, it would likely be some type of wintry precip. But the issue is it just is not looking like there's going to be much precip once you get east of, again, the foothills and really in some instances even east of the mountains. But again, that's Futurecast at 7 a.m. As you get deeper into the day, by 4 o'clock some precip makes it east of the mountains. But by that point in time, probably most of the Piedmont zone's warm enough for just a chilly rain. This is the snow. Oh, and by the way, as the cold front then approaches, we're certainly squarely in the warmer air, and it's just rain from Saturday night into Sunday morning. The footprint of snow on the latest RPM modeling looks like that, and I think that's a pretty good representation. Mountains and then down into the foothill areas of, say, Wilkes and Surry County, that's where your best chance lies of getting a little bit of snow on the ground. Here's the winter weather advisory placement from the National Weather Service. They do have counties such as Rowan and Davie, Iredell County, up through Stokes and Rockingham counties too, all included in this winter weather advisory for the possibility of some minor snow accumulations. But again, I'm getting the idea that I think really your best chance of getting some snow on the ground is going to be back into, well, let me get the right thing here. Here we go, right in maybe that corridor, north and west of that line. But we'll see. We'll have to watch the radar trends tomorrow morning. All right, and that little tone you might have just heard a moment ago, that was me getting the actual confirmation from the Blacksburg National Weather Service office about that Reidsville temperature. And it looks like this is, in fact, the coldest morning since January of 1994. On a morning there in that month of 1994, Reidsville hit -6. So the coldest morning in Reidsville there in over 20 years. All right, back to what's going on in the upcoming weather for us. There's the overall setup. You see that warm front approaching, but by tomorrow evening, that warm front is lifted through all the region well above freezing, and so it's just rain with this incoming cold front. Rain totals look something like this on the RPM modeling, about a ½ inch out toward I-85, and then the amounts taper off as you go further south and east as the amount of precipitation kind of decreases with that front. Now we will squeeze in a milder day Sunday. A lot of us in the 50s, even some 60s. Look at Charleston, even up and possibly breaking 70 there on Sunday afternoon. But then back into the cold air starting Monday. I think our highs Monday probably in most of the Piedmont zones, upper 30s or lower 40s, plenty of cloud cover. And then here's the European model solution. I'll show you this in better detail in just a moment, but notice as we get into Tuesday, you see an area of low pressure pop along the coast, and that throws some snow back into parts of the Carolinas Tuesday. And you can see the footprint of snow there with that system. All this you see here in this area, this is all with that Tuesday system that the European model is printing out. So let me show you the more detailed modeling. Start off with the Canadian model, and this is its representation of the precip late tonight into Saturday morning. Notice it's in the mountains, and then you get a little bit of an eastward development there through the foothills areas, maybe as far south and east as Winston-Salem, but that's looking pretty questionable. But again, I do think the mountains and the foothills could get maybe an inch or two of snow here or there, depending on how this system plays out tomorrow morning. And then by the time that precipitation develops further to the east, notice temperatures warming, and then it's just rain by tomorrow night into Sunday morning. Okay, that was the Canadian. Here's the GFS representation. There's daybreak tomorrow on Saturday. A little bit of snow tries to make it out into the foothill areas at least by through the morning hours tomorrow. There's the close-up view of the Carolinas. These are weather bell images, by the way. And then we do see some precipitation later in the day. And again, our foothills areas, maybe the northwest Piedmont could hold on to some sleet pellets or a little bit of freezing rain late in the day tomorrow, but it's just looking like the amounts of precipitation will be pretty lacking. But we will have to watch the radar trends carefully tomorrow. The European solution, it's pretty much dry through most of the region outside of the foothills through the day tomorrow. Now, sticking with the European, this is what it looks like then for Tuesday. This is early afternoon Tuesday, and then that is Tuesday evening. You see the precipitation associated with that coastal low pressure. Now, at the same time period, let me go grab the GFS model. This is what it looks like for Monday. Clouds, maybe a flurry or two, and then on Tuesday, I didn't even put the chart in there. It's completely dry on Tuesday. I didn't even stick that chart in there. The Canadian model here, let me right there. This is Monday afternoon. And then here we go, Monday evening, right there. And it does bring a little bit of snow Monday evening and Monday night to parts of the region. So there's certainly very little agreement amongst the models for this forecast package. I've gone with mainly clouds Monday and then the opportunity of a little bit of snow Monday night into Tuesday, and we will just have to continue to time that out. Now, there's another potential system late week. This stick with the Canadian model. This is Thursday evening, and then into overnight Thursday night and Friday morning. Notice, and let me go back here. Notice that low pressure tracking from the northern Gulf to off the Carolina coast. Nice track to get a little bit of snow in the Carolinas. On the GFS model, it stays same general area with the track of the low pressure. This is Thursday morning. It's a little quicker, and it stays largely suppressed with the track of that system. And there's Friday morning. There's Friday evening, and you do wind up getting some precipitation in here, but really it's kind of an odd solution on the GFS. You kind of wait on eventually a low pressure to pop by Saturday morning, and then that's Saturday morning, and that's Saturday early afternoon when you get decent precipitation in here. Let's go to the European. Again, that's your Tuesday system. We go out to Friday morning, and then eventually by Sunday morning, kind of similar to the GFS. It takes a while, but eventually you get a pretty good low pressure to form that drops some wintry precip in the form of some snow, and then really on the European, it's actually a lot of ice across the cold air damming areas there next weekend. So model agreement, nope, we don't have any of that. But we do have agreement in the idea is that it's a cold and fairly unsettled pattern next week. So there look to be winter weather possibilities, at least one or two of them next week. We're going to keep an eye on that later Monday to Tuesday time period, and and then again from the late Thursday right through next weekend time period. We're just going to see which of these disturbances to key on that might try to produce some wintry precip across the region. All right, that is it for today's edition of the video. Everybody have a wonderful day, and God bless.